So obviously we see you face off against the Riddler. Paul Dano's performance is just astonishing.
I know.
Absolutely incredible. Fans are obviously hoping that you will take on a certain clown at some point. Am I right in thinking, Rob, that you're actually terrified of clowns because you had a weird death experience of one?
What?
I think everyone's a little afraid of clowns, no? I don't know.
Maybe. Speak for yourself. I'm into clowns.
Really? That's kind of weird.
I'm into clowns, but like, I'm cool with clowns. I'm into clowns. No, I'm cool with clowns.
No, I did.
What kind of clowns? Because there's like, like French clowns.
Yeah, I like a French clown.
Yeah.
Scary clowns are obviously scary. Because
the story I read was that you were at the circus and one died in front of you, basically.
What?
It's another thing where I have trouble distinguishing fact from fiction.
Okay, so Rob is a liar.
He's lying. I love it.
With Rob, over for you, the vision of the script in the film has been very clear by the director. I had the pleasure of joining you guys for the screening at the Lot, and it was a very, very clear vision. And for you, when you agreed to take on the part and what you formed in your head, how did that change as you began filming the way you wanted to convey Batman from when you agreed to when you actually started?
I mean, I guess the way you approach every single part, you kind of break down each individual facet of the script and the character, and you kind of break it down to such small parts you can no longer really see the big picture. And it's just astonishing to me when we saw it the other day how close Matt's vision is to what the original script was, and it just kind of blows my mind. It blows my mind how the level of concentration to. He'd obviously seen the movie in his head that he wanted to make before he even shot one frame of it. And we were talking to the producer the other day, and he was saying, the way Matt writes scripts, they're basically like storyboards. And so it's an unusual type of script to read because you can't, it's really inside Matt's head. But yeah, he was so open to kind of questioning and stuff. I mean, the amount of times when, if we didn't understand something, he would still just allow us to explore it, and then we do 10 takes of our version. He's like,
let's just try one the way I see it.
Let's just do it the way I see it. And it's like, oh yeah, you were right.
But egoless, absolutely egoless, Matt. It's
I realized after about a month, I'm just going to do it your way.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Nice ring.
A new friend of yours?
I'm not so sure.
Can I ask you guys about the costumes in this film? Because Zoe, it looked like it was, you put that thing on with ease. I don't know how tough it was getting it on, but it was like zoop, zoop, slip, slip, I'm good.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. They had to make a different suit specifically for that scene to make it look easy, but normally it would take two people helping me get in and out of that thing. So
I was gonna ask,
why can't we just have this? It didn't look as good at close up, which is why. But yeah, we made a.
But it was true. I was like, holy, she got in that thing like that. She is. I
had to practice that. I had to practice that a lot. And with the nails too, they kept on getting caught on things. It started very awkward.
What about for you, Robert? How long did it take to get in and out of the Batman suit? And is there something you would change about the suit, looking back?
I mean, I got pretty good at getting in and out of it by the end, but definitely, we kind of realized, because at first we would put on each individual element separately, which would take it took an hour and a half at the beginning. No. And then I remember Nick, the guy who was helping me get into it every day, was like, hold on a second, why are we doing this? We can just have it all attached to the suit.
Yeah.
And it's we were putting, he was
Nick needs a promotion.
And he was taking it all out, putting it in individual itemized boxes. It was like this, and that was the first month of doing it. This doesn't make any sense how we're doing this.
Thank God for Nick.
The only thing, we did a lot of scenes in the rain and trying to put on waterproof or insulated suit that kind of whatever it's called.
That latex type of thing.
Yeah, which doesn't even keep the water out.
It holds the water.
It holds freezing water.
It holds the water closer to you longer.
And also the suits they're really kind of quite tight as well. And so when you try and put any kind of extra layer underneath them, you can I mean, you literally suddenly feel like the Michelin Man, and you kind of
Yeah, you can't
you
move.
definitely don't feel kind of slinky anymore at all.
Nope.
I love it.
Oh, I need the Batman 2 yesterday. Like, I need to see where you both go, or maybe the Catwoman movie, whatever. Just give me all of it. Are these two characters that, as they learn to interact with each other and interact with the world they're in, do you think these are characters who could ever learn to play well enough with others that they work with heroes like Justice League members once upon a time in the future?
I think it's hard enough just for us two to be together. I don't know.
I love the idea of trying to figure out how to make. We've been talking about a lot how to get the fantastical elements, because like Matt's world and his take on it is like so grounded.
So grounded, yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, how can you add? Like, we were talking the other day, like, can you add Superman into it, but he just doesn't have any powers? He's just a guy in a cape.
Yeah, it's kind of, the worlds kind of don't
He's just like, I'm
work
Superman.
together.
They're like, so
What?
Oh, you're just a journalist, sir. Put those glasses on. Right.
We trained for months together. That first fight at Mayor's Mansion took us quite a while.
I think the training as well. The more familiar you are with the fighting, you can kind of relax into it, and then you can kind of add that playful element. I think if we hadn't had enough rehearsal, and you're just really just trying to muscle your way through those fight scenes, I think it would look a lot more like kind
Stiff?
of stiff, but also kind of strange. If you're really like, when you're kind of unrehearsed a little bit, you look like you're just really trying to hurt each other.
Yeah.
And we look kind of like,
It's like a dance, which is
and
like the relationship, I think, between the characters. Right?
and they're very much in control of their abilities as well. So it's kind of, it's not, they're kind of, it's not like I'm hitting you with a baseball bat.
No, it's not. But I do think that, it was a really fun thing to kind of have to express their dynamic without words, and there's this moment, it's totally, I think, sums up their relationship when the security guard comes in and you have to, I have to be quiet, and it is this thing where you have your hand around my mouth, and I think my first instinct is get this person away from me, and then after a few seconds she's like, kind of like it here, kind of like this. So it's a really,
Also,
really complex dynamic.
I had to do that quite a lot, and you're incredibly strong. Like, it's actually one of the most difficult things. All the fighters
holding me
just
down.
holding you still.
He's like, Zoe, it's called acting.
You got a lot of cats.
I have a thing about strays.
Rob, let's start with you. Does Batman recognize anything of himself in Riddler, like a darker version of himself, had he not had Alfred or, a fortune to kind of protect him?
I think he really, really doesn't want to. I mean, I think there's a lot of the talent, the way we're trying to describe Bruce in this, the way I was trying to play Bruce. Sorry, he thinks. Once he's in that suit, how I imagined it anyway, is that he thinks he's basically disappeared. He doesn't think he's Bruce being Batman. He thinks when he says, like, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am the shadow, he thinks he is literally, I always kind of interpreted that very literally. Like, he genuinely thinks he puts on that suit and he is the shadows afterwards. And so when someone else is coming along saying, like, oh yeah, I'm exactly the same as you, it's like, dude, I mean, firstly, you're green. Your stuff doesn't look anything like mine. But like, it's kind of it. But it really forces him to confront what he's actually doing. I mean, he thinks being Batman is in a lot of ways like a sacrifice to the city, and he thinks that is enough. That's the penance for allowing my parents to die and allowing there to be crime, and he thinks it's a solo mission. And then so when someone else comes along and says, like, oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing as you, it kind of really, it's a rude awakening for him. He has to really come to a reckoning with himself.
This question is for both of you, but Zoe, I'd love for you to field it first. Has this particular Bruce Wayne ever known the touch of a woman? Basically, has he had a romantic relationship before with anyone, do you think?
Can you tell?
I mean, you seem a little awkward, but rich guys get what they want. So I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this earlier today. Actually, you feel like you've probably had a few girlfriends. I think it seems like he's been hanging out alone a lot. It's the vibe I get.
I think he had a cat he really liked, and that's why he likes it.
What?
And he's like, the love of my life was my cat.
And that's the only
And it's
reason
like,
you
and the
think you
only-
like Selena? Alright, whatever.
That's what it's all about. And
To
he
answer
goes-
your question, clearly the answer is no.
I'm going to start with I fucking loved you both in this movie. I apologize for the language, but it had to be said.
Thank you so much.
A million questions, but I think one of the highlights of this movie is Greg Fraser's cinematography. It's breathtaking. I really want to know what it was like. Could you talk a little bit about collaborating with him, and maybe what shot was really just tough to pull off?
I mean, Greg said to me a lot, he was like, it's like the two most difficult things, I guess when he was in film school, they said that by far the hardest things to light are the Darth Vader helmet and the Batman cowl, and
Wow.
he's done both of them.
Wow.
And I think even he's an absolute genius.
Master.
And just trying to figure out, it's so crazy. Like you go into it, and even in the costume test and everything, you do not realize how difficult it is to light the cowl. Like, I mean, you're just in shadow, like almost no matter what you do. And somehow he managed to kind of figure out a way through it where it just looks cool. It looks like Batman, but also you can kind of see expression and stuff. But he's just so relaxed, and seeing how masterful his work is. I mean, it's like, how are you so chill the whole time? It's kind of crazy.